Today's guest is Dawn Andrews, founder and CEO of Free Range Thinking, executive leadership coach, speaker, and host of She's the Founder podcast. Dawn helps entrepreneurs become confident CEOs. Yes. Through leadership, systems, and practical strategies that allow them to grow their businesses without sacrificing themselves in the process. I'm excited to dive into leadership, delegation, AI, and building a business that truly supports your life. Welcome to the podcast, Dawn.
Oh, so glad to be here and so glad to for those that don't know all that goes on to get a podcast up, we've already had some shenanigans this morning, and I think it's just
Yeah.
perfect for what your audience goes through. You know what I mean? We're all juggling so many things. So thank you for having me. I'm really excited for the
Uh,
conversation.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate sharing space with somebody who gets it and knows how it is. You and I are both living what we talk about right now is building that infrastructure around the things that just constantly come up in life. So thank you so much for joining us. For listeners who are meeting you for the first time, tell us about how you went from mom to CEO.
Yeah, well, the CEO part started before the mom part,
Ah,
with the mom
okay.
part in mind. So as you mentioned, I'm a business strategist and an executive leadership coach, and I started my company in 2002. And to do that, I left the entertainment industry and launched Free Range Thinking. And for the past 24-ish years, I guess, I have coached world famous directors, writers, actors, agents, executives in the entertainment industry. And these are folks who are exceptional at what they do and completely exhausted by how they're doing it. And I think there's such a parallel. I mean, I feel that way myself oftentimes, and it's the driver of how I've built the business over these last 24 years. So now I'm working a lot with female founders and corporate female leaders who are in the same place. You mentioned that we're in the sandwich generation. Like, we are in the rise of the elderly parent, younger or not yet launched kid, and women who were raised with so much more opportunity than their previous, than their moms had. And we dove in and decided we were going to do all these things. And now, now the chickens are coming home to roost. So my job is to help people stop being the bottleneck in their businesses. And increasingly, AI is the fastest way that I know to do that, not the complicated version of AI. So I want the version that works on a Tuesday when you have business calls, your car broke down and you got to get it fixed. You have school pickups to do and you got to take your dog for a walk. Like, that's what I'm about.
Yeah, and I think everybody's listening right now can understand that. All of my listeners are trying to balance their aspirations and balance what they know is possible and what we have been told is possible and all of the opportunity that we have. But we really need a lot of help in getting there because so much is evolving, so much is happening, and we I really believe that we can have it all, but not all at the same time. And we can't
Truth.
do it all at the same time. Right?
Double truth.
Right. So, talk to us about why you mentioned women becoming the bottleneck in their businesses. Why do you think that we become that in our businesses so frequently?
Yeah, I think, well, I'll just speak my truth. We do it because we're highly capable,
Hmm.
because being a woman raised in the society that we've come up in, we've been taught to handle multiple things. So we have high capacity
Hmm.
and high competency, and usually a low sense of self-worth, even if we think we don't have that. And so we do more to compensate for whatever gap we feel there is in our value. And that looks like being the therapist for everybody, from everyone in your family to the people that might be working with you or for you. It means saying yes to more than you have the mental, emotional, and sometimes literal space to take on. And it's just, it's frustrating. It's
Mm,
frustrating.
yeah.
And none of us really want it to be that way.
Hmm.
But at least my approach has been in fixing it to keep coming up with new ways to expand my capacity instead of setting boundaries. And you
Hmm.
kind of got to have both. It's sort of like running your finances, right? There are income and expenses. So you've got to be able to look at both sides of that for yourself so that you don't end up painting yourself into a corner.
Mm. Yeah, I think those are really good points. We can't just keep expanding capacity and capacity and capacity to keep doing more and more. We have to begin to find some harmony. I don't think there's really balance.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have thoughts on that.
Yeah. I
Um,
agree with you. There isn't. The work-life balance
yeah.
conversation is like a personal rant of mine. So it's like, what is
Yeah.
that even?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it draws some rolling of the eyes from me too. But for listeners, and I see this in people in my family and women I come in contact with and sometimes work with, is they don't realize they're there. So, what are some of the signs that you are becoming that bottleneck and you're holding your business back by, just trying to do too much on your own?
So the simplest one is just working too many hours. So and too many is for you to decide, right? Some people have more space, maybe not as many commitments, and they like to work and they want to work 12 hours a day and they want to work after dinner and they want to work at midnight. And so this is not meant to be there's a right way to decide how and when to work
Mm.
conversation. But if it feels like, oh my God, I haven't had a moment to take a breath, I haven't done anything fun with other people in a while. I haven't taken the time to literally take care of myself, like showering or going for a long walk or sitting down when you eat instead of eating at the counter. Like those are indications that you've gone well beyond your capacity. And those are the big, like loud ones. But the subtler ones are when you feel like if you step away, if you stopped, if you didn't do the thing today, that some, horrible situation would befall your business
Hmm.
success. And if you're feeling that reliant on, oh my God, if this doesn't get done today, because there's always an if this doesn't get done today sentence, if you're feeling like it's mission critical, then it's time to start looking at your boundaries and looking at your system so that you can stop being the bottleneck.
Hmm. Yeah, and I just want to add the point that what could have been something that was totally sustainable to you 5 years ago when your kids are at a different age, maybe you weren't taking care of aging parents along with family or whatever, that evolves too. What is sustainable and what's good? So just because
And that's the
today,
external, Angela. Like that's not
yeah,
even including what's going on for yourself and your own health, well-being, body changes, energy. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
again the two parts, right?
yep, I totally agree with that because as I just turned 50, I'm feeling like, man, I used to be able to work late nights and stay up till 1 a.m. and get that post done and da da da. That's not happening anymore. It's just not part of my capacity anymore. And that
Yeah.
is freaking okay.
Yes.
Um,
I mean,
so,
honestly, this is the part when it gets good because you get
right.
far more creative in the
Yeah.
way that you solve for that,
Hmm.
which if only we could have given that gift to ourselves when we were in our
Right.
20s and we just use energy to solve the problem all the time.
Right. Yeah, we can't have the extra coffee. We can't, do the energy drink to push through anymore.
Mm-mm.
Um, but that leads me to my next question. Where can moms start uh, releasing that control while maintaining the quality and the certain benchmarks in their businesses that keep them going?
So the first place that I go to is marketing. And the reason I do that is because if you can put together some sort of system of marketing that doesn't require you to be at not this necessarily the center of it. You can be the quality control, but if you're the one that is sort of strategizing most of that, producing most of that, posting most of that, following up on most of that without some systems to support you, then as soon as you step away and aren't able to show up for that, then your business basically goes on pause. And depending upon what your sales cycle is, that could mean that if you pause today, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 18 months from now, you're going to see a huge dip in your sales cycle because you haven't been marketing through it. So if you can set up a marketing system for yourself, then when life does life, you're still out there, still promoting, still drawing new customers, clients to your business, and you don't have to be the one doing all of that as well as serving all of that.
That lends us to thinking more like a founder and
Mm-hmm.
not just a business owner. We're thinking more like a CEO when we start putting those processes in
Yes.
place. So, where do we often where is that resistance to putting those systems that we need to put into place from actually happening?
Well, I'm trying to make systems sexy. And I will be the first to admit that for many, they are not. So that's like layer one. And when you are operating something and maybe it's a small business, maybe you're a solopreneur, if you're the primary person that is the generator of your business, slowing down enough to document how you do, why you do it, what your thinking is behind it, seems like an unaffordable luxury. You just want to keep going and keep pushing through. So that's the second level of resistance. And then the third part is just some of us are just not that great at systems. Like that's not how our brains
Mm-hmm.
work. We don't know how to set that up. And even if we had it set up, we don't know how to deliver it or share it or set up an AI tool to be able to act on our behalf. And that's that's three big chunks that get in our way from being able to do that. And so we just keep driving forward until something crashes into us and slows us down.
Yeah, and I love that you also point out I'm such a huge proponent of business makes us meet ourselves. And we have to
Yeah.
learn what our strengths and our weaknesses are. And I love that it's not only, finding the right coach or finding the right strategy, but sometimes we have to meet ourselves and internally look at, okay, I am just not good at this, and that is completely fine, but I can find help. I can find somebody to help me put this into place. And I think that that is so important.
It is. And I mean, none of us do it alone. Even if you're, again, going back to that solopreneur idea, you're not doing it alone. Like at minimum, you have friends, family, other business owners that you're connected with. Like every little bit contributes to you being able to deliver. But if you can set up those marketing systems so that your business can continue sharing what's on offer with the world, even if you're not available to do it, that's a
Mm-hmm.
huge lift off your shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Back on the leadership, my listeners love to hear about leadership, and I love
Hmm.
to also incorporate it in the conversations because as a former military spouse, I
Hmm.
realized when my husband retired just how absent leadership conversation is from
Yeah.
all conversation, and especially for women and how we lead,
Hmm.
and we think that we have to lead in this way that we've been taught or what's been modeled for us, usually by very masculine kind of standards. And so how can women start to step into a leadership role as a business owner, as a parent, and kind of break away from like finding what works for them and who they are, and
Yeah. I
really
mean,
like our strengths, what are those things that we're doing well and bring that to the table.
so. it's a lifelong pursuit. Like I feel like business is yoga, and like you said, it'll show you sides of yourself and things with yourself that you are unhappy to look at, but it but so required to be able to move forward.
Right.
Um, I think parenting is a great place to look to start with what you're great at. And I think moms are make excellent CEOs because there's how much you do for your family. Like you're literally hands-on and depending upon the age of your kids, like you're the one tying their shoes, etc. Um, but in order to successfully parent, you need to build team. Like you have friends that you trade off babysitting or set up play dates that are scheduled. Like you're already CEOing as a mom. And where are you doing that well? Take a look at what parts you're like, I love doing that part. It's great. I do it with ease. And what's the parallel in your business? And what parts are you like, oh my God, thank God I have the friend that does that, or like my parent that does that for me. And look for ways that you set up systems in your business in those areas. Like I think that's sort of a quick key to figuring out your style of leadership. And then asking yourself, are you like, we use a tool in my business to help people discover their leadership styles. It's called the Work of Leaders. And it helps them understand, are you somebody who is more people forward or more things and activities forward? Are you make decisions fast or do you require more consideration? Are you somebody who is easy to hand off things to others or you hang on to things tightly? So looking at some of those binaries, and honestly, you can use AI to help to ask you questions and help you discover a little bit more about your leadership style. Like you can
Yeah.
just get into a conversation with Claude and help it um, put some language around it for yourself. And then once you have that language, you can start putting some systems together.
Yeah. I love that. You talked about, I so often say moms are pre qualified to run businesses because we're already doing so many of the things and building so many skills as parents that are
Yes.
going to help us start and grow a business. But then you start talking too about, once again, learning those things that we do with ease and those things that we have resistance around. And then setting up systems and incorporating AI. I love it. Well, let's talk about AI and more of those
Yeah.
systems that we can use with AI and put into place with AI to help us, get more of our time back. Like I mentioned in the beginning, building that business that supports our life and not running it.
Yes. Yes. Well, how are you using AI right now in your business? Do you use it much? Are you using it regularly? Like, what does it look like for you?
Yeah. I use it all the time. I mean, the point when I realized like this can be a partner and take a lot, for me, it takes a lot of the invisible weight off of my
Hmm.
shoulders. From,
Hmm.
like you said, using it as a partner to have discussions with, like, whenever I like to use that word resistance, if things aren't, if I don't want to do a task or am finding difficulty with a task or something's not going well, I will use it to help me think or have
Hmm.
just like a stream of consciousness, whether it's around, marketing or, I use it a lot with podcasting. I help, come up with titles and show notes and just questions like what is going to help me take it to the next level.
Hmm.
So I use it like if I have a client that needs a particular thing and it seems like I want to do it better, I might have certain ideas, but I will use AI to say, okay, here's my end goal. Here's what I'm thinking. Is there any way I can make it better?
Yep.
So I'll do that a lot.
Yeah. So those are all, I think, fantastic ways to welcome AI into your business if you're not already. And where do you feel like your audience is with using AI these days? Like, are they afraid of it? Are they just they're ready, but they're like, well, what do I actually do? Like, where do you think they are?
Well, I think what's most concerning to me is there seems to be binary.
Mm,
Like, I'm scared of it. Heck no, it's cheating. I'm going to somehow, the AI police are going to find me. My clients are going to think that I am somehow not serving them the way I should, and that people are full throttle. So that concerns me. I don't know if what you're hearing, but I keep wanting to incorporate AI into the conversation so I can start cracking the foundation of anybody who is still afraid of it and thinks that it's going to take over everything or somehow. I really think women are so conditioned to do things the hard way that those who are not incorporating it. I know, right? How much time do we have?
I know.
But those who are not incorporating it, I think they're going to get left behind in a sense. And so
well, at the very minimum, they're missing the opportunity to reclaim their time.
Right.
And the reason that is so important is because it is the non-renewable resource.
Mm-hmm.
You only get as many minutes as you get, and we don't know how many minutes we get. Right. And chances are, if you're a mom and you've started a business, it's because you wanted to have freedom to be able to do things other than working.
Right.
Like you wanted to be able to work and hang with your kids, or take that long family vacation and not have to worry about a certain number of vacation days, or care for a parent, or freaking enjoy your time with your girlfriends and go live a happy, fun life. Right.
Yeah.
So for those that feel that AI is a cheat, I understand where you're coming from, but let's just go back to that CEO conversation. So if you are a CEO of a functional company, a company that is running well enough to make money, at a certain point, you hire a team. Because if a company is not growing, it's dying. Like that's just simple math. You can plateau for a while, but at a certain point, you've got to continue to grow, or you're going backwards into the negative and eventually into the red, and then your business is done. So if you're a CEO, you are looking for ways to offload things so that you can tip your head up, look out at the landscape, and figure out what's next for your business. And depending upon where you are in the development of your business and the revenue of your business, you may not be able to hire even a part-time person, but you can pay $20 a month for an AI tool that will fulfill those kinds of obligations that is fully directed by you. So is it cheating to hire? Like if you had the money to hire somebody, would you not hire them because you feel like that's cheating?
Right.
You would oh my gosh, most of the small business owners that I know, if I gave them a budget of $100,000, they would be like, I'm hiring 3 part-time people to do that. And they would be ready to spend that money right now.
Right.
So at $20 a month, so we're talking $240 for a year to take care of a lot of the things in your business that are below your pay grade as the founder and CEO, even if you're a one-person business, make the investment. Just cross over, and then we'll talk about the next part that comes up after you finally decided to commit. And some of it is well, where do I start? Some of it is, I don't know how to get what I want out of it. Some of it is, I'm not sure if all the things that I'm seeing on the internet about all the fancy ways to use it are for me. Okay, cool. But if you're resisting just engaging with it, I feel like the cheating argument is more about you than it is about running a successful business that you probably started for your own freedom and to make a difference for somebody else. So if you can take your ego out of it, just sign up for the subscription and get going.
Yeah, I think it's really a point where we have to think about our own limiting beliefs. I often say that we had a lot of excuses not to start a business 10, well, more like 15, 20 years ago. You had overhead, you probably had to do a brick and mortar business. And now if you have a cell phone and a laptop, you can be a business. And so that means that we're oftentimes our own worst enemy, and we're the ones that are getting it. We have to get out of our own way. And so addressing our limiting beliefs, even when it comes to AI, is really important. And I love that you brought up, I think you made me think that a lot of people who might think AI is cheating is really worried about like just using the output that it gives to do their work.
Hmm.
But I think like I didn't mention this, but you reminded me, like I even use it for time management. If I want to
Oh,
complete
yeah.
multiple things, I say here, here's where I want to start and here's where I want to end. How can I organize this? So, and then you also mentioned I've never thought about using it to analyze my skills as a leader. So, thinking about how you can use it differently than just you inputting and getting an output and using that output, but really creating a dialogue and a conversation and using it as a partner. And I think that your example is really powerful in that if you had the budget to hire somebody, of course you would. And what would you have them do?
Hmm.
And yeah,
Well, and to give you a really personal example, so this is in the my personal life, not in my business life, but it reflects in business as well. So my mother is 84 years old today. Yay, mom. Happy
oh,
birthday.
happy birthday.
And then I have a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old. The 19-year-old's just finishing a gap year, getting ready to go to school. The 17-year-old starting his senior year and all of the college application processes. And then I have a business to run. Like there's a very full, juicy life over here.
Yeah.
And I have a project in Claude called Mom. And in that, I have some of the notes that I've taken from her doctor's appointments. I have a little bit of the story about who she is, where she came from, and where she is now. And I had she was recently hospitalized for a month. And in the midst of all of the things going on with her, I still have all of the things going on in my life.
Right.
But I was back and forth into this project, having different chats about what to ask the social worker, about how to get additional help for her, about what questions to
Yeah.
ask the surgeons before she went in. Like all of that stuff, I did not have the mental capacity
Yeah.
to go Google the heck out of that and come up
Hmm.
with what those things were. And I didn't necessarily use those conversations verbatim, but it put me in the context instantly so that
Hmm.
I could switch from I just ran a kid to school and helped another one go like finish his resume to now I've got to help over here.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, I could go back to the marketing conversation and say, okay, make the plan for July. And I could pass it off to my assistant to make sure that that all got done. Like that to me is where AI just has extraordinary
Yeah.
partnership power for people that are in leadership.
Yeah. And like I said, it's like all of that mental drama that's going on in our head. It
Yes.
really just helps to manage that if you can find a way to use it in your life. Like you mentioned, I think that's so powerful. And I think we can just continue to expand our thoughts on the way that we can use it, but it starts with just beginning, you know?
Yes. Yeah, I think that a lot of what's out there is giving people the impression that you have to write the perfect prompt. And truth
Yeah.
be told, to get quality stuff out of AI, there is an art to creating prompts. But when you're just getting started with it, you
Hmm.
just start and then you continue to improve based on what's coming out of it. You don't have to do a 6-week course with Harvard to become a prompt engineer. Like at some point, you may
Yeah.
be really excited to do that, but that's not
Mhm.
required to get started and get value.
I think that's a powerful point too. That I think probably many women who are struggling with perfectionism and thinking that they can't use it unless they know how to use it perfectly, and honestly, there's really no wrong way to use it. You're just consistently evolving and reiterating how you use it. So I think that that's a great point, and I'm sure many of our listeners are thinking that they have to use it perfectly or in a certain way for it to really be useful. But you just have to start. So talking about AI and talking about systems and reflecting on the clients that you've helped, what do you think is one task that business owners can begin to automate this week?
So many. Let's see. What can you begin to automate this week? I would, okay, if you were sitting with me right now, I'd be like, girl, open your laptop. This is what we're going to do. I'd already assume you have a Claude account. And what we do is we create a Claude project called marketing. And then in the first chat, I would have you say something like, this is my business. This is what I sell. This is who my client is or who my customer is. And I want to develop an assistant to help me with marketing. And I'd start the conversation there. And inside this project, we would build out eventually who your first AI marketing assistant is going to be. That's what I would do.
Yeah. I don't think that there's anybody who isn't in a position where they've started a business and worn all the hats where they do not, they marketing is usually one of the things they want to offload or have some kind of help with first.
Yeah.
And let's just make sure that when you're creating this assistant, it's just not a social media marketing assistant.
No.
Because I hear that a lot. Like social media is the main focus when it comes to marketing. So
Yeah. Well, and the reason I would ask it that a question about an assistant is because it's going to start to reveal what you already know or what you don't know about your own business. So it'll ask you questions about what your strategy is or tell me more about your ideal client. Like it will help you dive a little deeper into yourself about how you think about marketing, what you think is most important. And it can also start to advise you. Maybe you should spend more time on LinkedIn, or maybe you should spend more time on Instagram, or maybe social media really isn't where your people are and you should spend more time building referrals with your clientele. But if you start with that marketing assistant conversation, you can start to reveal where you need to be stronger. And then from there, you can start to build what's next.
And I think one more important point to make before we wrap up is that can you address how using AI doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose the human side to your business? It doesn't have to mean losing authenticity and that connection with your clients.
The only way that we lose the humanity in using AI is when you decide to just use AI as is. It's on us to keep the humanity in there. We think that in using AI, we're losing the humanity. It's still on us to choose what we put into it, choose what we use that it gives us back, to review it, to choose what context we like. It's all of our choices. Where I see the breakdown and where people are pointing to AI outputs and like, oh, that sounds like AI, is that the human who used it didn't stay in the game. They put out the blog post and just literally copy pasted from the first output and didn't read through it, or didn't give AI or on their editing pass of something, their personal details or stories or things that make them unique or make their products unique. So I don't subscribe to the, AI is going to take away the humanity. Like only you can do that. You're the one using the tool.
I wholeheartedly agree. It's such a powerful resource to help us build that business and life that, like you said, we sought out to create by starting a business in the first place. And we don't get a reward for doing things the hard way or doing it all ourselves. And so if listeners take anything away from this conversation, I hope it's that. As we wrap up, I'd love to ask you, what is one belief that you think women can let go of this week, listening to this episode, that will help them become stronger leaders and create that business that, supports our life?
That we have to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm not the first person to say that. And you've said it to yourself. Like everybody listening knows that they've said that to, like, it's just easier if I do it. Like if that's a song that I could just have us not sing anymore,
right,
I'd really love to stop singing that song. That it's just better if I do it, and no, I have to do it myself. This world would change overnight if we retired that one.
It reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever heard that saying something like more comes to someone with an open hand instead of a closed fist
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And I think that that's often referred to in conversations around money. But I think that that is applicable to this conversation. And it's also when you have this grip around doing everything yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when we open ourselves up to more insight and help and not doing it all ourselves, more growth, more understanding, more everything comes to us.
100%. And that richness is astonishing when it
Mm-hmm.
happens, when you
Yeah.
allow it. And
Yeah.
it's I think it also gives us more energy and excitement to go out and go bigger, make
Mm-hmm.
a bigger difference for people.
Right. I have loved this conversation, but I feel like it's just the tip of the iceberg.
I
And
know. I do too. I was like, man, there were a million ways we could have gone with this today. And we went the right way. That's my firm belief. And I'm like,
right.
and another thing.
Right. I mean, we're talking about where we're coming from, and I'm sure we're talking about things that listeners need to hear. I'm sure if this conversation resonated, their listeners are going to want to connect with you and learn more about what you do and how you can help them. So, where can they do that?
Okay, I have three things. The first, I have something for your listeners, and it's 100 use cases for AI, especially if you're just getting started. And
Yeah.
everything from the easy stuff that'll take some time, it'll give you some time back today, to things that systems you can set up in your business to make it run even more so without necessarily you being there every single minute. And they can find that at hellodon.live/no robots.
I love that.
Which is hilarious because it is 100 AI use cases. But I just want people to know that you don't have to have the robots take over, meaning you don't have
Right.
to build a whole AI army for AI to be useful in your business. So there's
Mm.
that. You can find me at dawnandrews.com and all about our podcast, She's That Founder, and the work we do. And then if you're a social person, LinkedIn is where you can find me.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for continuing the conversation here on the podcast about women not doing it all themselves and really creating that business and life that they so crave. Um, Thanks so much.
Thank you for holding the space for all of us.
Aw,
Appreciate it and for having me here. Thank you.
thanks, Don.